We are now reaching the end of a very, very important countdown. As it is super nice weather, we thought why work inside when we can come up to the mast and actually get this fastened. The plan is to weld some bar onto here, just to get it all nice and strong. Super ugly. Might not look like much, but I'm just thinking, how strong can I get this? This is what I've come up with for now. The reason I've only welded up here and not down there is because now I'm going to remove it, get loads of Sikaflex under it, put it in place. Not only are these rebars, whatever, they're going to not only strengthen it but also hold it down, so I don't need to screw anything through the mast.
Ben is up the mast, doing some welds, and I'm about to fly the drone to film him, but I think I see a penguin. So I'm gonna fly the drone, try to find a penguin, and then film Ben, because I know Ben is working, but he's not going anywhere, and the penguin might be gone. So penguin and then Ben. Not attacking the drone, I know you guys. Stay, okay? Stay. No. Stay calm. You know. Drone, and I don't know if you can see from the image, but we are like sideways on the bay, which means that the waves are hitting us on the side. It's not a very shaky day, but as it's hitting us from the side, and Ben is up there, it's shaking quite a lot. Imagine welding up a mast while it's moving. He's quite hardcore. He would hate me for saying this, and I just want to answer one question. I think the comment we got the most from last week's episode was, why didn't you do all this job when the mast was on the ground, removed from the boat? And I don't know what channel you guys been watching, but on this channel, on this boat, the masts have never been removed, because that's not an option. The way they're built, it's around the masts, and unless you cut this tree off, they're not really removable. I mean, nothing is impossible, but removing this mast will mean a very big structural work. Of course, we evaluated if they were strong and blah 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 on place, but they were not removed. So that's why we couldn't do that when the masts were lying on the ground, because they have never been lying on the ground. They have always been like this. The only difference is that before we were on the dry, so we wouldn't have this movement that we're having now. But now that we are here on the water, when Ben is up there, we got to see a sea lion and a penguin in this beautiful bay. So I am sure that even though it's a little bit more challenging for Ben to do this with these waves, I'm pretty sure he prefers being on the water and doing this now. While Ben is working on where the sails are going to live, with the help of my dad, I'm going to work on where we're gonna control the sails from. So here, we're gonna have this support that I need to install, and on top of that, we're gonna have the winches so we can control the sails from here. And with that, we're gonna be one step closer to setting sail. You guys really are best friends.
Kyle, careful with the Sika flex. Whoa, he's close. What? Squeezing.
Hey! Teamwork. One part of the job is done. For what I can tell, it's very sturdy, but of course no job is ever as easy as it seems. So now it's really dark and it's not worth it for us to continue on the other side. So tomorrow, hopefully, we can have the other side done. And I think this made Yabá look so cool. Like we're finally becoming a sailboat, if you see what I mean. And I love this boat, it's so pretty. So I'm so happy.
So, with the combination of me working on the mast and you doing this, can we sail next time?
I hope so. I want to.
Well, let's work towards that. Anyway, tomorrow's another day. It's been a long day. Good night, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Now, you might see that I am absolutely wrapped in clothes and it's only 14 degrees, but if you would have told me when I was living in Belgium 14 degrees is cold, I would have probably laughed. But after spending, what is it now, 4 or 5 years in Brazil, my sensitivity to low temperatures has dropped massively. We've got the usual boats sheltering here for the southern winds, and it's been like this for about 3 or 4 days right now, and I've been waiting to go up that mast, and it's been raining every day as well. But today is going to be a day where I'm going to be productive. You see how this table is now resting on 6 T-stack toolboxes. I'm going to try and remove those and add 2 of these table pistons, which can be lifted and dropped to make a bed, and lifted for a table. So we're just gonna have a quick cup of tea, something warm, and then I think we'll walk the dogs and get that done. And what about her? And P actually left the boat. We borrowed a camera because this one broke and she went back to drop it off. So I'm going to try and get this done before she comes back, and we'll fasten these on, figure out where they have to go. Easy. So this is the lowest position and I'm very happy with it. We can fit a nice thick cushion on here. You can see how much is sticking out. All I need to do now is fasten it all in place, make sure the floor planks are fastened so this doesn't wobble. We can raise it, and I think we'll be very, very happy with this. Yeah, break everything. I like it. Awesome. Good for editing. Just before I start fastening both of these planks entirely onto the beams, you can see there is no need to access this. There's access to 4 massive stones, ballast stones, which I don't think we need access to, and part of a water tank which doesn't even have an inspection lid. But I am going to give this a good clean. This is probably still from the build, all this mess, and then fasten this plank in place. Maybe glue it down, I don't know, we'll see, and then start fixing the table in place. All these holes here are also going to be countersunk and also plugged, so I found a plug making bit and a massive drill bit because I couldn't find a countersinking drill bit, but fits perfectly over here, which I'm going to use. So I've just taped off how much I need to drill. Hopefully I don't go all the way through, because that would mean, hopefully we won't do that. So I'm going to just start drilling now, and also I've taped it off because as we're not going to be lifting these, I'm going to seal all the seams, so if in case any dust or anything falls down, it doesn't fall in the grooves. So I'm going to use a sealant, Sikaflex, or a caulking gun for at least the first 3 planks. I think we're going to start now. It's quite exciting. Okay, these are firmly in place. There's 8 screws, lug screws on each one of them. Now, I would have liked to make plugs now, plug everything on the floor, cut the plugs, sand and varnish. However, all the Purple Heart is on the roof in the rain. So I'm just going to flip this around and fasten this in place. And then I'll just have to lift the table and put the plugs in another day. It's still quite spacious under here. And I don't know, we're 16 screws away from just having a table. And I can't wait to test this out. This is firm now, plenty of space for cushion if you want to turn it into a bed. So this is bed position. Let's lift it and turn it into table position. This is so cool. I love these visually changing things. Also, I want to see how easy it is to lift alone, as it's, you kind of have to raise them both at the same time. Look at this. How cool. Installing it was so easy. It was just like the preparation work, just like the toilet. Making everything around the toilet is tough, and then putting the toilet in place is the easy bit. This flooring took so much time, but this installing the table is just a few screws. Absolutely epic. I know lots of you are asking for a boat tour, and we will be doing it very soon, but just imagine you had a boat tour last week and you wouldn't have had this table. Just by waiting a little bit longer, you're going to have all these little things added to the boat tour. I'll give you something now, for example. This is why I brought this up. So we have 2 lights over here, which we got from Bacon Sales Annapolis. Thanks for having these in stock as well. Now each light is meant to be turned off and on here. So there's 2 lights on, none, or 1. So you can see the difference between 1 and 2. Also, we can switch them off over here, so all of them at the same time. The reason why we like that is you can have this on, but we're in power saving mode, so let's turn that off and have this on, not 2, but 1. So now it's a lot less dark here. You can still access it on this switch over here, instead of having all of it on. Power saving and coziness level 100.
8 with 1 piece. Squeaky squeaky!
This new table is cursed. We are now reaching the end of a very, very important countdown. For the last 10, 12, I think even 14 days, I have been counting down the days where the weather app on my phone was telling me that it's gonna stop raining. This means, guys, we can finally get those sails up and get sailing. Now, what exactly has to be done for that to happen? So in no specific order, we need to fasten the backstay to the tip of the main mast again now that the mast cap is securely in place. We have 2 wooden supports over here in the cockpit area, which is going to hold 3 stoppers on each side and the winches. That brings me to the stoppers. We have 3 stoppers on each side, which are going to be installed between the pulley system and the winch, and also the tackle system for the main sheet. We have these super robust pulley systems which should be fastened on top of the rail, which are going to receive the sheet from the sails and send it aft to the winch. The only problem is I don't know exactly how the sailing is going to be, so I don't want to be drilling these 4, half-inch screws into the wood and then having to move it more forwards or aft later on. So what we're going to work with is low friction rings and Dyneema soft shackle. The advantage of the soft shackle is we can literally fasten it onto the rail between the spindles at whatever height we want and play around with how we can fill up the sails as much as possible before either deciding to put a kind of lengthy traveler on with a pulley or just install this in one specific place. Those low friction rings and the sheets and the Dyneema are the only things we don't have yet. So today I'm also going to measure the distances from the stoppers and the winch all the way to each individual sail to make sure we have the right running rigging. As for the low friction rings and the Dyneema for the soft shackles, it has been ordered and it should arrive in about 2 days. Comment down below if you think I have missed out on something very important. Of course, we're going to make sure all the standing rigging is nice and sturdy and stuff, but in my opinion that is enough to already get sailing and start doing the sea tests. Of course, small adjustments will be made later on, and that is the bit I'm looking forward to get this boat running as fast as it can on sail. To measure the distance of the running rigging that we need before ordering the sheets, we've got the old ones. They are quite, I don't know, I don't want to trust these anymore, but this is what I'm going to use as a reference of the length. So I'm going to fasten these to where I think they should be fastened on the furling system, even though the sail isn't up yet. I can bring them all the way back here, see how much is left over and see how much we want to order extra. But let's just wait for this to dry up a bit before I start heading out onto the deck. Yeah, I wasn't going to wait for the rain to finish. I actually need to get these measurements sent off so we can order it and they arrive sooner. Okay, the sheets have been ordered. Let's see how long it takes to arrive. The sun has decided to say hello, but it's probably going to rain soon anyway. I can see the horizon's all a bit misty. Oh, just felt a few drops. Anyway, I've been planning and doing as much sailing, lifting, preparation I could in the last few days. Like, what can I do now that's going to make adding sails in a sunny day easier? So right now I'm literally clueless of what to do without a long spurt of sun and nice weather to be up in the mast. So instead, what do? You know, get a nice chair, get some sunglasses on, get a coffee, you fish a bit, you know, like it has started raining, hasn't it? I thought the sun finally came out. But yeah, that's what I was living on the boat's about. Enjoying the little things and sailing, which is probably more important than doing the little things. He loves fishing. Watch this. When I start reeling, oh, it's nothing. Let's try again. Yeah. He loves it. Anyway, one fish and I'll be back to business.
And that can take up to 3 business days.
Good news and bad news. The bad news, couldn't catch any fish. Good news is tomorrow, hopefully, our low friction rings, dyneema, and the running rigging for the 3 most forward sails, the jib, the bilge, whatever it is, and the genoa should be arriving, which I can go and pick up. So let's try and get these winches and all that installed now. I don't want to install the winches themselves or the stoppers until I can pull the lines all the way back and see where everything fits perfectly. I don't want to have the stopper installed here and say, oh, I should have put it more forwards or somewhere else. So we're just going to install this second winch support. Same as the other one, very quick, and then we can move over to the next jobs to get those sails up. We read a lot of comments, and of course we consider a lot of your comments as well. The thing is, when every single person is telling us to put up the sails, of course that's all that we think about, and that's all we want as well. That's why we got a boat with 2 masts and 4 sails, not even 2 sails, 4 sails. Since we launched, our first priority, our biggest priority, was to sail. The thing is, I don't want to mess any of this up. There is so much that can go wrong with putting sails up. I know lots of you don't think like this, but a lot of you think, why don't you just put the sails up and sail? I wish it was that easy. Then we would have been, I don't know where we'd be right now, but we would have been sailing a lot already. But the thing is, there's so much to do, or so much to check, to make sure nothing goes wrong once we go sailing. Like the standing rigging, the furling systems, the attachments, the masts, all of this, it's super strong, but at the same time, if any of it goes wrong, it can cause a catastrophe. So what I've been doing the last month almost is I've just been living up in the mast almost. I still need to, of course, sleep between the masts. I might as well if I've been up there so long, but I'm nervous, you know, like I'm stressed. I don't want to get any of this wrong. I don't want to hoist the sails, go sailing, and then have to come back or even lift the boat, worst case scenario, to get something fixed. So I've been so cautious about doing this right. The fact that we have these sails out of storage on our dinghy, which is soon on the boat, is massive. Can't wait to see how, I'm going to rephrase that, I hope it's not difficult and everything goes nice and smoothly.
No being there.
Extra. How cool is it that you guys came up with the backstay? Now I'm just going to put the backstay on, and I want to just apologize for the welds I have done up here. And I am not a good welder, but the welds I did down there at least look semi decent with stick. The welds up here are another story. Look at that. And I know I need to just, I have no idea. I think it's just so windy up here. Every time the stick, I started welding with the stick, it just kind of like made sparks and popcorn everywhere, so I even used my hand to shield it. But this is the second time. I actually did an uglier job before. Now I cut it all off and welded again. It is very, very deep welding. I've gone probably halfway down to the rebar. Thanks Nigel for the suggestion. This way it's not going to bend either way. Yeah, these are just reinforcements. I just put them on anyway. The main strength is coming from the tube, and now it's time to add that backstay over there, and then we can pull the furling system up for the sail and also the topping lift, and then we should be able to tighten all this. You see it's all a bit flimsy right now. Never mind, I've got it. It's done. The backstay is now fastened up to here, the mast cap, the mast top. It's still, of course, all loose down there. Now we're going to bring up the furling system of the mainsail. That should be heavy, but the hull is quite accessible. And then all we've got is the topping lift. Okay, get on. I'm going to start pulling, and you'll have to bring it to the roof.
Okay.
Okay, you can put it forward. Okay, nice. So these little things that I used to hold the pins in is actually just TIG welding stainless steel wire. It works completely fine. Bend one end that way, stick it through, and then bend the other side. The backstay is fastened up there, and now I wish I could tell you what the exact plans are for now. I don't know the order, and I want to just play things and put one thing on, see how it goes, put the next, see how it goes. The next thing I was going to do is put the topping lift on as I was up there anyway, but it was missing a shackle. So I need a shackle for this, which I can get from the same shop we're gonna get the low friction rings and the running rigging from, hopefully today, if not tomorrow. But why would we wait to then just start tightening the backstay again? Get rid of these temporary ropes. So instead of the topping lift, I think this can be our next step. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a pain. Let's get all the way there. Eesh. Once we have the davit system over here, these mounts are gonna be higher up, which is why I don't wanna work on shortening these stays for now. We've got this super strong plate instead, that I would like to eventually shorten these stays, not have any of these carabiners. Nice and strong. Okay, let's see if we changed anything. Come on. And this, as you can see, is where the fun begins. We have 1, 2, 3, 8 shrouds, 1 backstay. We've got 3 forestays if you want to think about it that way. And now to get this to fit, but also to get the right or the starboard and the port at the same tension and length, and to get everything nice and straight, it's going to be lots of back and forwards of tightening and loosening and so on. But to start with, I'm just going to loosen some of the forwards shrouds to try and get this further back, and then we can start tightening gradually. I think this is where our tight standing rigging begins. So loosening just this side and not that one should bring the mast slightly more back. And if this doesn't work, then I'll do it with the foremast as well. Yeah, so close. Okay, that was good. Put it in the patron. Ready? Go, 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 go. Go. Keep going. Yes. Come on.
No?
No? Yeah, it was touching it. So guys, we're like getting it to touch and we just don't, you can't get it to screw on. How do we get on the platform? Maybe one of us on the platform. Okay, you pull from not standing on the platform.
Okay.
Try that. You pull from up on the roof maybe. Ready? Yeah, we got it. Ah, we're beasts.
Oh my gosh.
It's so strong, babe. We can pull boats. Just put some thread in, they say. Shouldn't take long. We've got the backstay on, which means we can remove that temporary one and start working on actually getting the standing rigging good. This wasn't possible without MP. And yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do. We'll have to tighten the one underneath the platform for sure.
I know what we're gonna do.
A brake.
We're gonna go sailing.
And then we're gonna tighten the stay under the platform so that we're not lifting the platform instead of pulling the sails back, the masts back. And P's launching the drone as we speak, so we can watch all this tightening happen from the side and hope it all goes well. That was pretty sketchy. All I could think was a wave coming and crushing me, but luckily that didn't happen, but it was going through my mind the whole time. That's tight. I don't know, what next? Have a look at the drone shot from the side and see what needs tightening more. Can you see it from there? Get a good perspective. How's the top one? Looking quite tight. The front one definitely needs tightening. So we need to
the
pull
back.
both masts backwards.
This one looks quite straight, but the front one is leaning forward.
Tell you what, I'll tighten the bowsprit one, because the bowsprit can be pulled down a little bit, and we'll see if that changes anything.
But
And
they'll
then
pull it forwards.
it'll tighten the front one, won't it? If I pull
we need it backwards a bit. I feel that the front one is a bit like this. It should be back.
Okay, so should we do the backstay first? I'm going to tighten the backstay, and then you call out when you think it's straight. Deal?
Just ask the seagulls to stop attacking the drone, because it's causing me so much stress.
Yeah, they're very territorial seagulls over here. Anyway, tighten the backstay, see what we can do with that. Our masts are literally trees which are made to bend, so I'm really not scared of putting a bit of extra stress in there. And they're massive as well. The thing is, I don't know if I'm lifting the platform still, or if the mast is coming back. That's the good thing about our davit system. It's going to have a massive pull from this corner all the way to there to prevent anything from moving as well. So it's going to not only act as a crane for our dinghy, solar panel support, fishing rod holder, barbecue support, whatever. It's also going to make this platform a lot stronger, or way better attached to the boat. This is pretty sturdy right now. I'm going to have a look at what the masts are looking like. If anything, we can tighten the bobstays now and try and pull the bowsprit down a bit. I have tightened the backstay and the bobstays, and it is tightening. Everything is kind of straightening out a bit, but I don't want the bobstay to be, the bowsprit to be like bent down. It looks quite silly. So there's one tensioner that needs tightening, but that's already at its limit, and that is the one connecting both masts. So next job, it is what it is to remove that and shorten it. This one, you see, shouldn't be so loose. Because that one's not that bad. That's quite tight now. Let me know what you would do in this situation.
I think I know.
What?
We've been here in the same landscape for a bit too long.
Way too long.
What if we just motor to the next anchorage and then we finish preparing the sails there, so we are not under this pressure anymore?
The thing is, we can sail now. It's just going to be a pain to roll them up. We can have all the sails open, just on floppy stays.
You know, like change the landscape will give us a boost of energy. We're gonna be navigating, not sailing, but moving at least.
We'll see.
Wait a little longer working here so we can go sailing, or go motoring, finish all the sails there, and maybe come back sailing.
Once we leave for good.
I mean, of course I want to go sailing, but I also feel that we are under a lot of pressure to leave this place soon and go sailing, and just things don't happen the way we want. They happen the way they happen. And how do you say? A good sailor is not the one that controls the wind, but the one that adjusts the sails.
We don't have sails.
Well, we can control the whole situation. We can control just how we react to it. And maybe the way we can react to it is by
Sulking.
going somewhere.
It's by sulking
No.
until these things fix themselves. This one's good.
I think I have
We
a
can
point.
definitely sail on this one. We can sail on the Genoa. I think that's the Genoa, right?
So we go with 3 sails instead of 4.
We can sail on this one, but to roll it up and unroll it, we'll have to climb to the bowsprit every time.
I think sailing on 3 sails out of 4 is already amazing.
This is good.
Shall we do that then?
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, we can. No, I want 4 sails though. Not giving up. I'm going to finish this. Fasten it. I'll do the rest. I don't know about you, but I am so happy about the progress we've managed to do in this episode. We are so close to sailing that I can almost smell it. I can smell the sails. We really hope you enjoyed this episode. I cannot wait for next week to see what we're going to be able to do. See you guys next Sunday.